Howdy, folks. So I've got some improv thoughts and insights for the week. We have class on Saturday over the holiday, so hope to see you there. I've got a great exercise for those of you that have been, it's good for everybody, but for those of you that have been in training for a bit, it will be particularly insightful for you. And I kind of wish I'd been doing more of this from day one, but we're always learning and growing, aren't we? So basically, this is along the lines of improv being a good conversation. And by a good conversation, what that it means is that in your real life, when you are having conversations in your life with family and friends and coworkers and all that, you are being authentically you. You are being grounded in reality, and you are talking about life and how you feel and what your opinions are. Maybe a bit of vulnerability in there. So that's just regular conversation. And what we do in this particular exercise is we have two people start with an organic conversation, and then we layer on an environment or a location. And then those two performers are asked to continue this natural conversation that they're having, and then interact with that fictional environment and go back and forth in between those two things. It's really great scene work. That's all I got to say. Now, the other night with a class, I did two exercises. We did this exercise, but before that, we did a yes and exercise. And the yes and exercise, you all know what that is. We're basically going to agree with and try to expand and add on to whatever has been proposed. What I found is that being the direction for the students was that we did get these ungrounded kind of fantastical ideas coming up. So, for example, my parents are aliens, or we're on a different planet, or I have 6 arms, or I just drank 50 beers, or I have 100 kids. Like getting these things that we don't hear in our everyday life. And yeah, we are in an improv stage, but when someone throws something out there, it's a lot to kind of have to digest and to justify and to make sense of. So you will see if you come to class on Saturday, these normal conversations in a fictional environment worked out really well. I think we come up with these fantastical and crazy ideas because we're nervous. It's not something you would have in a normal conversation in your real life, but now we're in an improv thing and maybe we're a little bit nervous, and so we kind of invent. And I can remember a scene when I was in year 2 of my improv, and I said, oh yeah, my cat's dressed up as Evel Knievel riding a motorcycle. And the coach just stopped the scene. And he's just like, Gaffney, what the hell are you talking about? Like, this doesn't make any sense at all. And he waited and let the scene go on. And in my notes from him generally, he's like, your work's not grounded. You're inventing these things. And I'm pretty sure that was out of fear. And as performers, as we're learning our way, we're not sure how to play it. And interestingly, if you watch 20-year veterans, they're playing it very real. They're playing it like a real person, like a real conversation. Yeah, the environment's fictional and their character is, but it's going to be grounded in reality. Really what we want to find is our true opinions, how we really feel, some vulnerability. And for you that are performers that are maybe going to other theaters and stuff, if you are if someone comes out and creates a crazy environment and they throw a curveball at you, like, hey, we're on this planet and all the aliens are coming and blah, blah, blah. The way you can ground that and kind of bring it back to reality is to make it about you and the other person. Like, take all the environment, and you can do that by reading the person, empathizing with them. Empathizing, you know what that means. Hey, you look like you're hurting. Hey, you look really happy today. Or you look like you're in a good place in your life. Or you can say, hey, I'm feeling pretty upset by all this. So these are those things where we're connecting and being real with the other person, and we're letting go all of the other crazy details. The one last thing I want to say in this complex art form of improv is the dynamics between like 2-person improv where 2 people are doing a long scene, or let's say it's a 2-person show. It seems to me to be different than when a troupe, an improv troupe of 6, 8, or 10 people are performing a show. So, for example, if I walked out and I said, "Hey, I'm an alien and I've got 6 arms," right? If it's a two-person scene, that's a lot more to deal with. Now you have to, the other partner has to deal with that whole thing, and you're going to want to try to ground it and justify it and all that. Now, if you had a troupe, if I came out and I said I got 6 arms, I would probably have other team members come behind me and stick out their arms behind me and truly give me 6 arms like a spider. So then you would have both players out there with their teammates supporting them with literally the arm sticking out behind them, and it would be funny. I promise you it would be funny. And that's just an interesting thought to me as I watch troops perform versus two-man people, or when we're doing our individual scenes with people. And we tend to work on both. We do a little bit of troupe work at the end of class, and we are going to experiment with getting the troupe more involved in the scenes. And then we're also going to work on how to do grounded scene work where we are being vulnerable and we are exploring real themes, issues, and feelings in our normal life. And when we put that into the fictional environment that we're recreating, and there's plenty of humor to be had. So those are the thoughts for the week. Ping me if you have any questions or thoughts on it. And I'll see you all in classes coming up. Cheers.